We provide the program for them to participate their skills in. And in the fees that they pay to come along, it covers their expenses as well as some of our program costs. So every year we're back to zero and we start again. But I'm just happy in the moment that we're able to do what we've been doing. Thanks.
I'm Kirk Johnson from the Rehab Medicine Department at the University here. I was wondering, how do you identify the resources that are available in the communities, or like for the quick 5-minute solutions and that type of thing? Do you bring stuff through internet, or do you just look at your local hardware store to get in that community, or how do you identify those materials that are available?
Well, that's one of the most fun part of being a volunteer in our group is that we actually meet with the communities and we do sort of a community exchange and an assessment in a way, not a formalized, but kind of get a sense of what kind of adaptations might be necessary. Some of them we've played with before and created and got an idea of what materials are needed, and some might challenge us. We spend an afternoon in the stores. We go and take over the towns, and we go in and out of hardware stores and all the different stores in the area. We brainstorm. Oh, we need something that might be a good grip. What about this little piece of foam that was really meant for something else? And we just collect a lot of materials. And we bring a lot of materials to the workshops, and then we sort of brainstorm on the fly. It's a fun way for us to be able to be creative and to share the creative process that goes on, that it's not something we're cookie cutter trying to figure out, but more, let's use your imagination. I think one of the best ways that we can dispel the myths that it requires expertise to do this is to empower people to be able to think for themselves. And I don't mean this in a way where people aren't capable, but what we found time and time again is that people sit and wait because they somehow have gotten a message that they're supposed to have a professional come and do this. So we're here to break down that myth.
I think we have.
Thank you. This is a wonderful program and very impressive what you've done. And I love the model of working from home to community to society, intersecting with laws and policies. But I wonder your thoughts on where they intersect and what your barriers are to what you're doing. And I'm thinking about accessibility in the community and public transportation and things like that that really become barriers to what you're doing that need a more investment of on a policy level.
Can you mention your name, please?
Oh, excuse me. I'm Peter Usman from the UW Department of Rehabilitation Medicine.
Thank you. Obviously, their accessibility is a huge, wide continuum of issues. And what we recognize as a small nonprofit is that we have to focus on our specific mission. So we focus on the one little area of the continuum that we can bring any expertise and resources around. It doesn't mean that those things don't impact what we're doing. We find every day that we call ourselves students of another culture, because what we're learning are the things that we take for granted, the transportation issues, the accessibility issues. I think I mentioned before that even most disability-related organizations meet in inaccessible places. We actually, as one of our projects one year, created a ramp. So if you want to say, what do we do? Well, sometimes we do just what we're able to do. So we said, well, I'll tell you what, we'll raise a little more money, and we'll come in. We thought we were going to do it out of wood. No, you do it out of cement there. So we needed the local guy who knew how to do cement, and we all rolled up our sleeves and created a ramp into a school that had many children who used wheelchairs, who up until that point stopped at the steps, got carried up, and so forth. And what was wonderful is that, as we know about curb cuts and everything else, is that the ramp got used for all kinds of other purposes after that point. I don't have an answer for all of those things, but I think those are the challenges. It's like we can take it to so much, so only to such a certain level, because we're not taking adaptations from here that are more sophisticated. If we took things that require batteries, for example, as soon as the batteries were gone, many of these places would not be able to afford the batteries. So that's where we've been focusing. Well, what can we do with what we have? And hopefully then people begin to have more and more awareness of these other types of barriers. And we believe that some people have begun to shift and think about those kinds of things. It's really the leadership of the people with disabilities in these communities who are pushing things forward. So we're following their lead and their direction. Anyone else?
One more question?
All right.
Great.
My name is Mark Rennis. I'm from the Center for Technology and Disability Studies. And the work you do, a lot of it is around developing sort of lower tech activity. Do you hear any demand or interest in higher tech devices? And of course there are barriers, battery charging, all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, it's a good question. As you saw, we started in Mexico where they actually had the infrastructure and sort of had the ability to bring in computers and go from there. In our journeys, we have been visiting schools and some organizations where computers are just now being available for student use. Not probably like a lot of the schools where, that I'm familiar with, having worked in the schools. It's not about complete access when you need it kind of thing. Just more sort of a hand-guided opportunity. So what we're trying to do is change a perception of what's possible with a computer. We have done, for example, for a group of adults in an independent living center, they weren't aware of the access control panels in the operating system. So we did a on-the-fly workshop. Here's what you can do, and you don't even have to buy any more money, and it's right here. And that just, again, building awareness. So while we see that as part of the future, and we will probably have some evolve into some more of that, it still seems like there's about 15 years differences to our experiences here, at least in the communities where I've been. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.